Oh boy, the chat is already spicy. What can we say? Listen, guys, welcome back to the channel. KG is back. We're back for a live stream talking about the latest information given to us by Leeds United with the retain list for 24-25 being announced. We're going to delve into that and go through some of the more key names on there. It's funny saying in previous streams, I think it won't be a surprise. Yeah, I'm surprised with a couple. Not gonna lie to you as I sit here today. And we're also going to speak about just a couple of other items on the agenda. A couple of them attain to Leeds United as such, but just from what other clubs are doing. And yeah, we'll go through whatever's on whatever, if people in the chat come up with certain else, we'll talk about certain else. But yeah, we're close to the transfer window opening up. We need to see changes on this team. We know that. Well, we got to start with this retain list first. So before I get into it, you know the drill, people. Hit the like; it's free to do. Helps out the channel. Helps it with everything. Algorithm. Please like the video, subscribe, and of course, drop your comments below if they're sensible. Thank you to Carl, who's joined as a member of the channel. Much appreciated to all my existing members. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description, and it helps me out. These ones are direct saying evening KG, nice to catch you live. Yeah, listen, evening here, morning, night, wherever you are, you know how it goes. I hope you're feeling good and smelling good. Matt saying, I cannot believe what I was seeing when I saw the retain list. This team is stuck in the past. Okay, right. Shall we get into this? Shall we get into this now? Let's have a look. Oh no, before we get into it. Oh no, where's it gone? Okay, I've lost the page. Let me get this back up. In terms of the retain list. While I'm getting this up, I did do a video on the goalkeeper scenario. As we know, Rodak is available from Fulham for free. He's being released this summer. I did do a video on that and just what we can do in regards to signing a free transfer in that position, using the funds for our existing number one into other areas. If you haven't seen that, please go and watch that one as well. That's in the video list too. Right, here we go. Here we go. We are here, people. Don't know why. I don't know why it tried to go. Don't try and run away now. Don't go away. Don't go away. If the comments are killing me, killing me. So yeah, retain list. Robert saying, haven't seen the list yet. Is this going to hurt? Yep. Okay, let's go into it. Let's go into it. Parrot House, always supporting, man. Big up to you. Thank you for the support, Parrot House. Thank you for the super sticker. We'll get that one back up. That's a very nice donation. Thank you. So the retain list, everyone, has been announced. And there's a couple of surprising names, I must say. There's a couple of surprising names. So let's go. Let's get into this together. The retain list submitted to the EFL. Leeds United could confirm the retain list for the 24-25 season has been submitted to the EFL. The following player has had a triggered one-year extension clause within his contract. And I've got nothing against this one. I think that this is a good one in terms of Sam Byram. And again, not just because he's been on the channel, I'd be very honest. But I just feel that we're not going to see him for 46 games next season. And we do need depth, and we need players that Farr could trust. Clearly, Daniel Farr could trust Sam Byram. That goes without saying. I think there was even a joke with the Leeds United guys saying that you're his son. So it's good to have him around for another year, and it's not an expensive contract by any stretch of the imagination. So cool, absolutely fine with Byram having his contract renewed for a year. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't see him being first choice. I think that's probably the most important thing I need to say here. But as somebody is injured or we need to rotate, him coming in, especially at left back more than right back, which is crazy to say as he started out as a right back. I think he's way more effective as a left back these days. Don't ask me why. I just don't know how it happened. When he was on the right, he started to play a little bit more safe, but on the left, he was much more adventurous. I don't know. Maybe he just retrained himself into that position. But yeah, Sam Byram will be here. And yeah, Darren here, Byram low wages, no issue. Absolutely no issue with this one. So let's move on down the list. The following players will be released when their contracts expire. So here we go, people. Is there any on here that surprises anyone? Charlie Allen, no surprise there. We know Luke Ayling has gone to Middlesbrough for a 2-year deal, so that was obvious. Lewis Bate is one that I saw a couple of people mention, but Listen, all I can say about Lewis Bate, and I was a big proponent of him when we was in the Premier League when we had no midfielders and we was trying to get by with Click and Forshaw. Oh, and I was saying, we've got him, might as well use him. He's not going to be any worse than those two. But I think we've moved on a bit now, and I'm not going to get into it too much, but I don't think that overall that the commitment was there from Lewis Bate. Can't go, I'm not going to say too much, but I think it's probably going to do him good to start somewhere else and restart his career somewhere. And good luck to him. Good luck to him. But when you're looking at Leeds United and where I want this team to go, I don't see Lewis Bate as part of the future. So it wouldn't make any sense to me for Lewis Bate to be offered a new deal. I hope he goes somewhere else and kicks on, and good luck to him. Anyone else surprised about Lewis Bate? Everyone keeps on talking about the same guy. Listen, we're not there yet, people. We're not there. We're not there. And we'll get there, man. Jazbo, hey, listen, be respectful in the chat, man. That's all I'm saying. Keep your opinions. Just talk normally, man. Talk how you'd speak to people face to face. Yeah, okay. So no one's got any thoughts about Lewis Bate. If you do, put them in the comments, right? So let's carry on down. Stuart Dallas, we know, is retiring. Keaton Carroll, isn't that Seb's kid? Yeah, he's gone. Cuba Dibbo, can't really say I've heard of him. Scott Godden, Morton Spencer, Harvey Sutcliffe. Harvey Sutcliffe sounds like a serial killer. I'm not going to lie. Danny van den Heuvel, one of the reserve goalkeepers, he's gone. I guess the other name that I want to just point out there is Jan Poveda. In terms of Jan Poveda, I just find it hilarious. By the way, when he was here at the start of the season, some of you guys, honestly, listen, this is why I always say opinions are opinions, but some are just wrong. Just outright wrong. Jan Poveda is going to be the new Pablo. Remember those ones? Remember that one? Jan Poveda is the new Pablo. He could be. Well, he's saying his goodbyes. He's packing his bags, and he'll be somewhere else. And rightly so as well. He was never good enough for Leeds United. Started off promising, like so many, but he didn't add to it, and he stalled. His career stalled. So yeah, Poveda, good. Seems like a smashing personality, by the way. Seems like somebody that I would like, but on the football pitch, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, ads here. Poveda will be a good addition to a lower tier club. Yeah, listen, Sheffield Wednesday fans were delighted with him. They were surprised that Leeds United let him go. They thought he was that good, but that kind of tells you the kind of level where he is, in all fairness, that he shines out in a team like Sheffield Wednesday, who just scraped relegation. So, yeah, we'll go on there. Listen, you guys. Yeah, sliced bread head. What you mean, Poveda, the next Di Maria? Honestly, Ed, you would have thought he was Angel Di Maria the way some of these people were talking about him at the start of the year. I couldn't believe what I was reading at times. Yeah, he's worth another contract. Honestly, Lord have mercy. But yeah, so here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we are. The following players have been offered new contracts by the club. Right, let's go here. Harry Christie, Cody Drame, Joseph Snowden, and Luca Thomas. I'll explain the Cody Drame one. Listen, Charles John has probably got the same idea as a few people. Oops, let me just get that back. Charles here saying, like the Cody contract offer, will he be first choice right back? Can he make it this time around given the opportunity? Well, Charles, I'll say this, it's not going to be for him staying. It's going to be for value. And we're going to get into that a little bit in regards to a player that we've just loaned who's gone back to his club. But no, we're not keeping Cody Drama. He's not going to stay here. He's got no intention of signing a new deal here. It's so that we can get a bigger compensation from the club that he's going to. So if we don't offer him a contract, he leaves on a free contract, free release. We don't get any compensation for him for the development we've put into him. So by offering him a deal, it means that we can get compensation, or it goes to a tribunal, and that way we get some money. But Cody Drama is not going to stay here. Exactly, Lewis. Drama has been trolled too many times by this club. He's out. Yeah. And you know what? I forgot. And we were speaking about a lot of things on the season review. It completely slipped my mind. We was talking about Jed Spence being used as a left back. How did I forget the whole Cody Drama being brought in at left back as sub? Oh, no, he started the game, didn't he? Then he got subbed off early because it was a disaster because he's not a left back. But, and Daniel Farker said at the time it was his fault. in Daniel Farker's fault for putting him on the left. Cody's been fantastic. His attitude's been fantastic. Everything else, if you want to blame anyone for his performance, it's me. How did I forget that? Honestly, I don't know how I forgot that, but yeah, it was. It was an early sub, wasn't it? And we've seen Farker with his subs. He rarely does that. But I don't know how I forgot that. But I would say that was the last straw for Cody. So many times he's been offered, he's been probably promised in the summer, look, you'll get a look in here, get a look in there. He's one time he gets a start. It's at left back. It's ridiculous, honestly. Some of the usage of the players the past season was ridiculous. Hopefully Farker's learned from that, by the way. Everyone's saying get to listen. Yeah, Charles, I remember that day. It completely slipped my mind, Charles. I don't know how I forgot, but yeah, that did happen. But yeah, so anyone thinking that Cody's going to sign a new deal, I would say it's 99% unlikely. I just don't see any way that he wants to stay. I think it's just a way of getting some money for him, and that's good, and that's smart by the club. Very, very smart. So yeah, let's move on down. Everyone wants to get to the main event. Everyone knows where this is going. Yeah, the club is in talks. Hold on here. The club is in talks with the following players about extending their contracts. And as you can see there, people, it's Liam Cooper and it's Jamie Shackleton. Now, right. Let's handle this right. Because I'll be honest with you, I thought these two were in the release column. Didn't see any reason why they would both be here. Now, we don't know what kind of contract this is for Liam Cooper. Is it a non-playing contract? Is it one of those? Is it a player coach contract? I don't know what it is. If it is an out and out player contract, for me, I'll just say this: it's a waste of a roster spot. We could be using that for better. And for anyone that's going to say we need him for the background, for the leadership off the pitch, you can get that in a older player who is going to help you on the pitch as well. Sorry, you can get both. It doesn't have to be one or the other. This club always loves one or the other when it comes to certain players. I'm not, like I say, I'm not married to Craig Dawson. I'm not trying to get him through the doors no matter what. But you could get Craig Dawson as your older centre back, but he's going to give you some good game time in this division. Liam Cooper's been finished for years, and I did not expect him to be offered a new deal if it's turn playing. But like we say, we don't know what it is at this point. But in order for him to take up another spot that we need as centre back, and we've seen that's been crucial. If Daniel Farker complained about wanting experience, well, he had it in Liam Cooper, and guess what? After the Watford debacle, he didn't use him, and for good reason. So that's why it confuses me a bit in terms of Liam Cooper being offered a new deal. What say you? Yeah, exactly. Hank can get that energy from a coach. Doesn't have to play. Yeah, yeah. I mean, is it going to be a situation where he's being kept around like Mark Noble at West Ham, where Noble signed the last year? And I mean, he barely played Mark Noble. He wasn't there. But we're not in that position. We're not a Premier League team where we can really afford to have like hangers on. We can't. I mean, what's he going to do? Is he good at karaoke? Does he do a carrot trick? Shout out to Roy Keane. You know what I mean? But everyone remembers that Roy Keane one. Does he do karaoke, a carrot trick? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Yeah, I mean, and listen, Jed, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Yeah. Yeah, Jack as well. Daniel Farker doesn't play him anyway, so what's the point? That's another thing. When I've been talking about recruitment, it's been about what Daniel Farker's going to use, who he's going to use, because quite clearly from the bench he didn't trust him, and then especially after the Watford game with Liam Cooper, he didn't trust him, and the only time he did use him was when we were 4-0 up against Norwich, and when there was like 8 minutes left. So you can't get into too much trouble with Liam Cooper on the pitch, but he's been finished for so long. And I was hoping we was going to have a goodbye. And my thing isn't out of spite. It's just for the good of the club. It's just for the betterment of the club. It's nothing to do with a hate in a player. But his time has been up at Leeds for years. And I thought that this was going to be it. But we could potentially see Liam Cooper in the Leeds shirt in 24, 25. I just don't get it. But I'm sure it will keep the Passion Merchant fans happy. Maybe that's what they're looking at. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. Jamie saying Cooper staying to pat people on the back because he sure as hell ain't playing much. Listen, I will never take that away. Jamie's actually joking here, but he is good behind the scenes. I'm telling you, I will never take that away from Liam Cooper. He's fantastic with all that stuff. But I'm talking about on the pitch. And that's the most important thing for me. I don't background stuff, you can get good people here, there, and everywhere. On the pitch, though, where it matters, that's what's going to take us to the Premier League, not Liam Cooper having a chat with someone behind the scenes. It's about him doing his job on the pitch, and he can't do it no more. It was ropey for him in and even think of early in the season where he scored from a set piece, a rarity for us. He got injured while doing it. Like, he's frail as well. His body's breaking down. And I always say this as well. Yeah, it's for the badge pumpers, of course. I always say this as well. People always love to do that hold. I've blocked it on here, but side before self stuff. Well, if Liam Cooper really is as big a fan as he says he is, side before self, well, he should know that he's taken up a valuable roster spot here and will think twice about signing a player contract. It goes both ways for me. If you're going to do that whole old, outdated saying side before self, then have a look in the mirror and say, am I good enough to be at this football club anymore? He should have answered no about 3-4 years ago, in my opinion. But yeah, Mr. P announced Cooper has been added to the backroom staff. That's the most helpful that should be offered. Yeah, and listen, behind the scenes, I got no problem with him staying behind the scenes because he's a brilliant ambassador at the football club. But on the pitch, no, we're wasting a spot here, and that just leads me to believe that if he is going to stay as a player, does that mean we're going to be seeing Ampadu as centre back again, or are we going to then recruit another 2-3 centre backs? It's all up in the air, isn't it? But I did not expect to see his name. Let's move on. Um, let's move on to the other name, Jamie Shackleton. And we knew that Daniel Farker said that he would take care of Jamie Shackleton. Remember that earlier on in the season? Well, they're really taking care of him because, I mean, Jamie Shackleton is nowhere near retirement. So this is for the playing staff. But again, like so many other players, Jamie Shackleton, is he going to get better than Leeds United? I don't think so. So I do see him signing a deal. And he is one of those players for me that I don't think it matters to him too much if he's playing week in, week out, which I don't like in a player. I'll be honest with you. I've never been into that. I think that if you've made it to the level you've made it at, you should do everything in your power to try and play week in, week out, especially when you're at a good age. We saw his usage as well, Jamie Shackleton, when he wasn't actually injured and he had a lot of glute conditions when he was due a game. Oh no, he's out with illness. Oh no, he's got a glute problem. He wasn't used. Jamie Shackleton wasn't used, and we had needs to use a utility player like him. So again, I'm just confused. Yeah, Jack, he's our Scott Carson. That's what it. Jack, it's funny you say that. I was thinking of Scott Carson. When you're Man City, you can have Scott Carson there. Just there chilling. Scott Carson's probably got the best job in the world. Let's be real. He's at Man City, getting paid a nice little packet, and he just keeps on extending that 1-year deal. But Jamie Shackleton's in his 20s, man. And he should be going somewhere playing regular football. I expect him to stay. I just don't see unless he's serious about wanting to play week in, week out. Jamie Shackleton will be here on the books. Yeah, Charles. Yeah, taking care of Jamie for real. Yeah, listen, you remember Charles and everyone else. I thought they were just going to say, look, we'll help you try and find a new club, like give you a reference. One of those like, oh yeah, he's a real good chap. He's a real good lad. You could do worse than signing this guy. Well, it's us. But obviously, with these two names, we're not talking about first 11 here. But that's just not the point, people. And for the people that will say they're not going to be playing week in, week out, we saw what happened with our team. We needed players that would come in that Daniel Farr could trust, and we didn't get that because he didn't trust the bench. So it is a weird one for me. Lewis, great question. It's like the Tyler Roberts question here. What position is Jamie even good at? He opened as a central midfielder. He's not a central midfielder for me. He's not a right back, but he plays there. I couldn't tell you, Lewis. He's one of these. He's a Swiss Army knife, one of those jack of all trades, master of none. But yeah, Jamie here saying what Shackleton done this season by being injured, maybe had one good game. Yeah, it's underwhelming, isn't it? It's underwhelming. But you just hope that there's a bigger plan in place, because if there isn't, people, then you have to come back to these kind of decisions and go, okay, well, you say that you needed another centre back, then why did you waste one of the spots on Liam Cooper? It all comes back to management. So every decision they make, is in regarding the future. Oh man, Luke Varney. So yeah, it's we'll see what happens with those. What else is on here? Duh, 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 duh. Yeah, professional contracts. I mean, those are the youth players, and shout out to them. The following players will return to their parent loans following the conclusion. Parent clubs following the conclusion of their loans: Jaden Anthony, Connor Roberts, and Joe Rodon, which was all expected. Just something on Joe Rodon, because people messaged me on IG. I wasn't going to come on for the video because I thought it was a non-point. I didn't think there was any controversy behind the whole Joe Rodon thing. But Joe Rodon's contract, it's much like us with Cody Drama. If you want to look at it in that way, in that he does have value, he does have clubs after him. So what Spurs are doing is that they're taking up the option that they put in his contract to extend it for a year. So now the options that Leeds or any other club will have is that you buy him outright, you loan him with obligation to buy. It's going to be one of those two things in terms of that. But Joe Rodon's contract was always going to be next summer because he had interest in him. If he was like Ryan Sessegnon, if Ryan Sessegnon had gone out on loan for Spurs this season and overly impressed, and he had a clause in his contract that says we can extend it for a year, they would have extended it for a year instead of releasing him for free, and they would have tried to get a fee for him. So it's just in that. And a question I got asked, I couldn't believe. Can he refuse to sign the extension? The extension would already have been in there when he signed his new contract, or the contract he signed at the time. So it would have been, I'm signing a 4-year contract with the club being able to take up a 5th year. And so the club can trigger that anytime they want. It's not up to the player. They have already signed that in that initial contract. So it's a completely separate matter. Yeah, direct saying Rodon goes to a lower prem team. He's wanted. It's not even close to what he's wanted. But my point with Joe Rodon, I kind of spoke about this with Connor, is that I would love to get Joe Rodon back 100%. But there's other players out there we can get. Like, he's not the be all and end all when it comes to centre backs. He's done brilliant for us, and trust me, I'm not downplaying that. He's been one of our most consistent players, easily top 5 for me when you take out the attack. He's been brilliant for us. But there are other defenders at this level that I think we can get a tune out of as well. We talk about Bamadelli, talked about Craig Dawson. There's other players, Ashley Phillips at Tottenham, again at Tottenham. There are other centre backs out there and names that we're not even thinking of, people. Daniel Farker could even dip into his Bundesliga bag and go and get one. So it's not the end of the world if Joe Rodon gets a Premier League move. Listen, I would say to him, fair play to you. Once again, people, I'll say it again for people that don't get it. When you do well at Leeds United, people have eyes on you. And if he gets a Prem move off the back of this, it's well deserved. So, oh God, you guys in the chat still talking about Shackleton and Cooper. Listen, we've done that. Put your thoughts in the comments after the video is done as well. Mr. P saying, let's hope Leeds don't fall into Daniel Levy's traps. Loan only obligation to buy if ridiculously low, i.e. 5 million. Nah, listen, they won't do a loan only, Mr. P. Once again, business, we have to talk business here. They're not going to extend his contract by a year, only to loan him out with only just a loan fee without an obligation. They're not going to do it. So although his contract will end next summer, what they're guaranteeing is whatever bidding war comes in from any clubs going in for him, if it is a loan, obligation loan, they know they're getting a fee at the end of next season before his contract runs out. I hope that is easily understood, but that is how it is. That there's no other, there's no other thing to it. Tottenham are looking out for themselves. They know that there's big interest in him. They know they can get some money back off the 11 million they paid. Maybe they get that back. Maybe they get a little back. But that is how it is. So if it is an obligation to buy, and I hear you though, if it is like 50 million, I don't know about that. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, Gavin, again, I talk about my other ones. Here's my other one, Ronnie Edwards. If you're talking about an obligation to buy, I've already said the way that you could do it with Peterborough. And you got to think as well, people, there's going to be Euros this summer. So clubs are going to they'll be doing business, but they may wait until after the Euros. So I would be saying to Ronnie Edwards and Peterborough, look, Darren, we can't give you the whole money that Premier League teams can give you, but we'll give you a portion now, and then upon promotion, we're going to give you a whack of money. And I'm not talking expensive, because I think Peterborough will probably be looking for 10, 12. including add-ons maybe. So, you give them maybe half now, half on promotion. There's various ways you could do it, but that's what I'm saying. Ronnie Edwards coming in would be brilliant for me. Slice Ed, Bread Ed, Godfrey out of favour at Everton. Would you take him? Not for me. He goes under the, someone asked me about Tanganga. There's just certain players that you're asking for trouble if you sign them. And Godfrey, for me, as good as he is in terms of quickness and everything else like that, he's a bozo. He's got that bozo gene in him, and I think people would get frustrated with him if he was to come here. Would it be a terrible deal to get him? Maybe not, but I would much prefer who Danny Farker's worked with before, and that's Omobama Deli from Nottingham Forest. I would feel much more comfortable with that because he's positionally more sound as well than Godfrey, and he's quick too, and he has less bozo moments. So I would do that. Plus, you're probably saving a whack of money from wages that can go elsewhere in the team. That's where I'm looking at it. Paul, hey, listen, I'll put it up, Paul. Paul saying here, so the 49ers are ruthless. I hear it, Paul. I'm just hoping, Paul, and everyone else, that there's a bigger plan of action that we have no clue about, and that's where I'll go with that. Dr. Cox here saying, get Ronnie Edwards if Charlie Creswell goes. Yeah, I mean, well, I would get him anyway. I would, because the thing is, even though they're around the same age, they're completely different players. Ronnie Edwards is a ball playing centre back. He can get stuck in, no problem, but he's much better with the ball at his feet. And we know Daniel Farker rates that a lot. And maybe that's why he doesn't trust Charlie on the pitch. Maybe it's one of those. Yeah, and James here, this is what happens when you fail to secure promotion. You have to work within your means in the championship. Exactly. James is spot on here. If we're in the Premier League, we're not talking about extending Shackleton. And I feel confident saying that I don't see why Leeds United in the Premier League would be saying, Jamie, how about another year? I just don't see that happening. Championship level, though, it makes sense to keep Byram. Shackleton don't make sense to. I'll be real with you, man. Some of these players should be in League One. I've said it for 2-3 years anyway. They have no business being at Leeds United, not this football club. No, but yeah. So yeah, there you go. I hope everyone gets that Joe Rodon bit, and shout out to the people that message me, man. Listen, it's love, when people just message you about certain things. Gotta say. Speaking of our future, shout out to Charlie Crew, who got his Wales debut for Wales. They drew 0-0 with Gibraltar, and he came on. So shout out to him. Gotta think maybe he's going to get a look in here and there next season. He was already called up to the bench a couple times, even though we know what that means here. But yeah, listen, cool. Mikey here. Listen, you guys are going ham about Cooper and Shackleton. Get it in the comments after, please. Trying to keep Cooper and Shaq is abysmal. Some things never change no matter who's in charge, Cage. Yeah, I understand. And Leeds here saying that it's a Leedsy thing to be charity FC. It is, with the likes of Bamford, Cooper and Shackleton. Look, we'll see what happens with Bamford. And Bamford won't be on this kind of list because he's got a contract with 2 more years on it, so he wouldn't be on a retained list, just in case anyone asks about that. But yeah, look, we'll see Leeds. Look, I want Bamford gone. I want him sold, but it's up to him if he goes. I just want to know that the 49ers are doing everything they can to try and sell him. If they've done their part in saying, look, Bamford, we don't see a future for you at this football club, but he says, well, actually, I'm going to stay here for another 2 years. Well, then that's cool, because we shouldn't have given him that contract anyway. And I'll never go against a player for signing a contract, especially when it's kind of, undeserved. You know what I mean? So fair play to him if he stays, but I want to just hear noises that they are trying to get rid of him. Chris here saying Charlie Crew, in regards to Charlie Crew, just another player for Farker to ruin. Tremendous. Chris will never change, man. I love it, man. Shout out to you, Chris. Where shall we go next? Talked about Joe Rodon. Just let's get this one out of the way. Long rumored target of ours. Finally, he's going to find a new home. Thank you. I don't believe in anything like that, but thank you so much. Fabrizio confirming Nottingham Forest currently ahead of Wolves for Che Adams after a proposal made to the striker as a free agent. Forest confident to get it done soon, waiting to seal the agreement. Thank you. So hopefully now we can all just move on from seeing Che Adams. I don't want to see his name in the chat no more. He's going to go to a new club, and that is it. That's all. The only way I can see it happen again is if he doesn't get first team football at Forest, and then we come round to January. Hey, should we go get Che Adams on a loan? I'll be like, oh, not this again. But yes, Gavin. Any sign of Ryan Kent? Nah, he ain't coming. I don't think he ain't coming. Neither is Adam Lafondra. I think they're all staying where they are. But yeah, there we are. Quick note on Che Adams because he always gets brought up. That's it. Now, one thing I wanted to show you, and it's something that I think we all agree we should look into. Vincent Kompany and Bayern Munich are doing something that I believe this football club should be doing. I'll give it to you here. Florian Plettenberg here, Sky Sports Germany, talking about at Bayern, there's been discussions about the position of Professor Dr. Holger Broich. He's the okay. Listen, Bayern have reassessed everything after the numerous muscle injuries last season, and that's why they are now reorganizing. It's possible that Bayern and Broich will go their separate ways in the near future. There is a concrete idea, even from Vincent Kompany, to bring in somebody new into the club for this role. And what that is, people, it's the medical team. It's the medical team, and it's something that I do believe that this football club needs to look into. And I'm only, you know what, never mind the season's past, just talking about the season just gone, the whole Pascal Strauch injury, the fact that he was signed off to come back so soon was criminal. It cost us, one of our best centre backs for the remainder of the season. Criminal. Talk about if you believe he was injured at the end of the season, a bruised knee from Patrick Bamford turned out to be strained ligaments. I feel like this medical team has been poor for a long time, and I think that the club should look into moving them on and getting a new medical team in. Seems like a small thing, people, but it's not small because it's about the health of the players. And if you don't, you take care of everything at the football club, and the medical team for me is something that they need to look into. I would do this as well, but I'm just saying it just shows you big giants like Bayern Munich, Vincent Kompany just gone in the door. He's looked at what's happened in the season and said, why has there been so many of these kind of injuries? And they've done something about it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Gavin here, Broich to be Cooper's personal trainer. Direct saying our medical team is suspect beyond that. Beyond that. Direct saying injuries and recoveries cost us prem status. Yeah. Status. Yeah. It does. It's part of the problem, but then you saw what happened with Pascal. The fact that he was gone meant that Ampadu had to come back, and then we didn't see Ampadu move again because it worked so well for a period. And then you had the thing that where we needed Ampadu back in midfield. He didn't want to play Creswell for whatever reason. He didn't trust Cooper, and he had to stay there. So we did get cost of a key player there. Absolutely. David here saying medical team shocking, not like unlike a few other things at Leeds, sort it out. Yeah, absolutely. Mr. P saying, thank you for the super chat, Mr. P. Have a Red Bull on me. Other beverages are available. Please, 49ers, give us a squad suitable for promotion, but also to hold our own in the Premier League. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we'll sort out promotion first, Mr. P. That's the first and foremost thing. That's why I give ideas of players to get that are both short and long term, because you need both. We're going to need loans. We're going to need short-term deals in order to flesh out this squad. Listen, guys, if we could buy a first 11 of stars and then get a bench of stars, I'd do it. But it's got to be realistic, isn't it? We're not going to do that at this level. We're not Real Madrid, who have got that in abundance. But yeah, absolutely, Mr. P. Give us a good base to go on now, and then we can just add to it in the Premier League. I'm completely with you. And Direct saying here, I want to get a set pieces coach, please. Yes, please. Let's do that. Let's do that. Lodi here saying, I was hoping of Creswell making appearances this season, but now Cooper might be staying. He will definitely want to leave. I mean, you can look at it that way, Lodi, and it is a good way to look at it, but you just have to look at it from what happened last season. Charlie Creswell didn't get used, given a nice, shiny new contract at the start of the season, number 5 shirt, and it was just turmoil. They pieced things up in January after that whole public fallout, but he didn't get used. He was literally stapled to the bench. Well, not literally, he wasn't stapled, but he was stapled to the bench all season, wasn't he? So I think he would be looking to leave regardless. I think his dad would probably want him to leave too. And it makes sense. I've said I would like Charlie Criswell to stay, but we've got Daniel Farke here. So you've got to get players that Daniel Farke will trust and use. And that's what it is right now. Mr. P. How did I forget Jorginho? Yeah, Mr. P. The medical team gambled with 2 players, Strauch and Rutter. Had they both gone for treatment earlier, I'm sure both would have been back to their best sooner. And Mr. P, it's not just about Jorginho's treatment. It's the fact he had even though it was a minor hernia up, he came back so too soon. It was clear to see as well from his performances. They went down. He went down with after that surgery. So yeah, so many things here. So many things. And yeah, exactly. Direct knows. I talk about this all the time. It's a small percentages. We don't need to spend money to sort out the basics. Exactly. Let me see. Is there anything else? Oh, okay. Right. Okay. I'll get Isaac. I'll get to your super chat in just a minute. People, uh, Cree put out his thank you for the season post on IG. Don't know if everyone's seen that. Nothing major to go off it. Just a lot of thank yous for his teammates and the fans. You know, they helped me double my assist, become last season, and become top scorer. He then says at the end, or him and his team, I should say, thank you all for the love and support. At the end, it was a disappointing end to the season, and it still hurts, but we will come back stronger. I wouldn't read too much into the "we will come back stronger" thing. I do fully expect Crysencio to go. I mean, imagine if he was to stay. I mean, that would be unbelievable to get him again in the championship, but it's very unlikely. I think he just means in general, whoever wrote it is just saying that the club will come back stronger. So I wouldn't put anything into this. And the difference between him and Mateo Joseph, just before anyone says it, is just that Mateo Joseph, for me, I think there's more scope for him to be here and talk it out with Farker and say, how are you going to use me? If Farker doesn't use him the way that I believe he should be used, there is a chance Mateo Joseph goes. But there's just too much noise about Summerville going, not him in particular, but the clubs that are kind of coming in for him, that are getting a feel of what Leeds want, how much they want, and everything else like that. I think it is inevitable that he will be leaving the club. Hank, was Gerhardt mentioned yet? Listen, it's not about the retain list isn't who they're just going to keep. It's about contract. It's only if their contracts were coming up. So Gerhardt must have like another 2 or 3 years on his deal. Don't quote me on that. But if his contract was up this summer, then Gerhardt's name would be in there. But if you've got a contract that is long term, you won't be on a retain list. That's not how it works. Sinistera said that and went, yeah, listen, a lot of clubs say, a lot of players at the end of the season say, see you next season. Then you don't see them next season, do you? But yeah, so that's all I was just going to say, just in case anyone, said, have you seen Summerville's post? He says we'll come back stronger next season. He could be here. Very unlikely, people. That's all I'll say. Isaac here with the super chat. Thank you, Isaac. Let's put it back on here just for people to love. Let's put it on this bit because I know people love that bit. Isaac here saying, KG, I know this is off topic, but do we know the details of the Red Bull deal? I mean, 60 million a year is crazy. That means we're the second highest in the world after Madrid at 70. No, in terms of details, no, not really, not the out and outs. We just know what we've been told, and that is that, yeah, I don't know if it is 60 million a year. I don't know if it is it 60 million a year. Sounds very high. I know I've heard the figure 60 million banded about, but I wasn't sure if it was overall or maybe it's broken up over a certain amount of years. Is it 60 million over 3-4 years? I'm not sure, but all we know is what we've been told, and we've been through it ad nauseum in terms of that. There's nobody from Red Bull getting a seat on the boardroom. They're not going to rename Elland Road anything. The club name is going to be Leeds United. No Red Bull involved in that. So yeah, all we know is that it's the most lucrative deal that's been in the championship. Is that what it is? Okay. Let me just get this here. Isaac is following up saying it's 60 million first year and then 100 mil for 3 years. Okay, and Sam is saying pretty much the same thing, although Sam says it's 2 years, not 3. But let's go with Isaac. But yeah, it's just an incredible, whatever the deal was, whatever it is, the fact that it's the biggest outside the Premier League in history just shows you the reach. It shows you the power of this football club. And that's why I guess it's more perplexing why we're seeing names on the screen that are being offered new contracts. But look, we've got to see. We'll judge this all. When we do this, we judge this all at the end of the transfer window. If Isaac follows up, if we get promoted, got you. But we'll judge this all come the end of the transfer window. We'll know then who's gone. More importantly, who's come in as well, because we need to flesh out this squad. That's why, me and Connor will talk about this on his channel. And we went through a whole host of names. We was on for like nearly an hour and a half. It was a brilliant discussion if you haven't checked it out on his channel. But we was talking about if say Gruev is sold this summer, which he looks more than likely he might be, then my thing is Leeds United don't have to then put that money back into a defensive midfielder. Take that money and go get Van Erwijk from Coventry. Sort out your right back. I would rather have one player in every position than have 3 DMs again, but then not have a left back and right back. And then when the window's closed, we hear Danny Farker saying, well, we have solutions that, he can play here at left back and right back. I don't want to see anyone. We've had that for the last few years. We had it when Jesse Marsh was here talking about when he wanted a left back, and then obviously got word from the club that saying we're not going to get a left back. And then next press conference, he says, no, we got Pascal to go with Junior. And that worked out brilliant, didn't it? No, I would rather us take the money that we're going to get and not just say, oh, we've lost Summerville, so let's go and get another left winger straight away. Go flesh out the other areas of the team and build it up nicely, even if you just got one. Yeah, exactly. Round peg, square holes FC. Enough of that. I know that there's going to be some names, and maybe that's why like a Jamie Shackleton's going to stay behind. Sam Byram too makes sense. They can play across various places of the pitch, but why not go get specialists in those areas? We've been doing this for far too long. And I know Bielsa was brilliant with it in terms of turning players into Swiss Army knives. And, probably no one better than that because he's a coach. He's an out and out coach. That's what he does. But we're not in the Bielsa era no more. We need to get players that play in their positions. So that's why it's important that we recruit properly this summer. And look, proof will be in the pudding come the end of the transfer window. Seriously. I know I'm not good as Farley now. He's brilliant, man. If you haven't seen Farley as well, go check his out after the playoff final. Brilliant, man. Brilliant. I'm glad a few of you appreciate it, though. Yeah, Poppy here saying we've needed a left back for 3 years now. Longer than that. Need that. But yeah, so that's where I go. That's where I go with this in terms of the whole Red Bull investment. We'll see how powerful it is. And look, as we say, we don't know anything right now of what we're going to recruit. We don't know who's going to come in. But we'll get a good idea once the names come in. And I hope it surprises me. I hope it surprises you, the kind of players that we can attract here. We're just giving names right now because we don't know the constraints we're working with or restraints we're working with. Let's see how we go once the window opens and we see actual players come in. That's why I said in the video as well. And if you haven't seen it, it's in way more detail in the video. But getting Marek Rodon in from, on a free transfer, 27 years old, top goalkeeper at championship level, absolutely brilliant. Eye test and stats back it up. Get him on a free transfer. I think he was only on something like 15,000 a week at Fulham anyway. Get him in here and then sell Meslier. I don't know how much you get for him, maybe 6-7 million, maybe more if the 49ers are good negotiators. Use that money into the team and use Rodak as your first choice and use Klaassen as your second choice. Sell Darlow as well. God, there's just so many things that we can do to help out, flesh out this team, really. Yeah, I appreciate that, Allison and everyone else. Yeah. Sam here saying Rodak would be a solid signing. I said it in the video, but I'll just say it here. His numbers for Rotherham, when Rodak was at Rotherham, when they got relegated, is just below what Illan Meslier put out this season for a team that finished in third place. That's how good his save percentage is. That's how reliable he is. He'll come for crosses. He's good at shot stopping without his wrists looking like they're going to break, and then the ball just rolls in. He is a top goalkeeper at this level. And because it's free, I'm basically giving you all my video here, but please go and watch it. But because he's free, if we go up, I'm fine with him being our backup goalkeeper, and then you get a real Premier League quality goalkeeper in. Because there is a difference. There is a difference between Championship and Premier League, and Fulham kind of found that with Rodak. He only played a couple games each time they went back up, and they said, oh, all right, we better go get a real goalkeeper. And they did with Bernd Leno, and that's what I want us to do. Somebody in the comments on that video said, that's very cutthroat. I don't see Leeds United doing it. That's what Leeds United need to do. You have to be cutthroat. You have to go, thank you for getting us up, but we're going to need an upgrade here. And there's plenty of goalkeepers I can suggest that can be an upgrade in the Prem. No problem. Yeah. Allison as well saying here, Rodak with a better defense will have even better numbers. Exactly. It makes too much sense to me. It makes too much sense. But you know what I mean? We shall see. We shall see. And Ed's coming in late. Hello to you, Ed. Shout out to you. But yeah, the stream is over. But go back and watch it from the start if you've missed a majority of it. But yeah, listen, people, that is it. I don't think there's any other news. Let me just check my phone before we go. By the way, if you haven't already, please hit the like on the video. Really does help out the channel in ways of being seen. So thank you. Yeah, there's nothing else, people. Nothing is. Nothing else. So yeah, people, enjoy the rest of your Friday. If there's anything over the weekend, if I have any ideas for players, I'd bring in as well. We'll do videos then. But yeah, listen, you've been brilliant in the chat. Shackleton and Cooper took the headlines in the chat. Give me your thoughts in the comment section after the video. It's a mad one. It's a mad one. So yeah, listen, people, thank you for joining me. See you in the next one, people. Peace out.